Hello students, how are you? Hope you all are fine, because we know it very well, the whole world is now in a great crisis. The pandemic COVID-19 or coronavirus has become a threat to the whole world. That's why staying home is the best way to avoid this infectious disease. So, please stay home and stay safe. Today, I am going to teach you an important poem of class 10. Lesson 2. In lesson 2 we have the poem Fable. Fable, I think this word is known to you, but no problem. Those who don't know this word, I am making it clear. So before starting the poem, I would like to ask you some important questions. The first question is, have you read any story that has animal characters? Have you read any story that teaches us a good lesson, a moral lesson? Can you tell me the name? You need not tell me at this moment. You can think yourself, and if you know, you can tell it yourself. Okay, because you are now far from me. I think the name of such stories like The Greedy Dog, the story of a tortoise and a rabbit. Okay, this kind of stories are flashing in your mind. Yes. In this kind of stories, we find animal characters, and these stories teach us a moral lesson. For example, in The Greedy Dog, we find that the dog faces its ruin because of his greed. Okay, so at the end of the story, the lesson that we find, the lesson that is imparted to us is that greed is sin. Okay, grasp all, lose all. There is a moral at the end of the story. So, if you want to grasp all in your life, you will lose everything. You will lose all. So, this is the moral of the story. And the story where we find a tortoise and a rabbit. Okay. Though the tortoise is slow, but it wins the race. And from this story, the lesson that we find that is imparted to us is that slow but steady wins the race. Okay. These kind of stories are known to us as fable. There are two types of tale or a story, fable and parable. Okay, in fable, I have already given you the examples. In fable, we find animal characters, and sometimes inanimate objects can be there. And at the end of the story, there is a moral lesson. So a fable always teaches us a moral lesson. Okay? So in lesson number 2, the poem Fable, this also teaches us a good lesson. But this is not in a story form. This is a poem. Okay? But the characteristics of fable, a tale or a story, are also in this poem. Okay? Here in this poem, we also find two characters. Those who have gone through the text know it very well. We have mountain and a squirrel here in this poem as characters. Okay? So, our today's topic is Fable. Fable, this is a poem composed by Ralph Waldo Emerson. He was an American poet. He was not only a poet, but also he was a lecturer and an essayist. Okay. He was born on May 25, 1803, and his lifespan is from 1803 to 1882. Okay. The most important things that we need to know about him are written here. I am trying to describe in a nutshell. Please try to understand at first. Before starting the poem, we need to have a brief conception about the poet. So we have just known he was an essayist, a lecturer, and a poet. Besides, he led the transcendentalist movement. This movement held in America in the late 1820s and late 1830s. This movement is better known as transcendentalism. Okay, this is a philosophical movement. And also individualism. We can say here Emerson was a champion in individualism. What does it mean? What does individualism mean? This is a social strata, a political ideology, we can say. Okay. And also the moral worth of the individual. Actually, individualism means the moral worth of the individual. Okay. So, in individualism, or through this term, we can say that Emerson tried to emphasize, please try to understand, Emerson tried to emphasize how much self-reliant or being independent is important. Okay, I have written here some notable works, especially some important essays composed by Emerson. Self-reliance, you will try to remember it, you will try to keep them in your memory. The oversoul, circles, the poet, etc. Okay, and here I have written down characters. I have just told you in this poem we have mountain and a squirrel. And personification, this is a figure of speech. We know it very well. The poem describes a conversation between a squirrel and a mountain. Okay, but we know it very well. The mountain is an inanimate object. It cannot speak. The squirrel is an animal. It also cannot speak. But the poet has represented them as human beings. Okay, and this is called personification. When human qualities are attributed to inanimate objects or animals, it is called personification. Okay, so the figure of speech that we find in this poem is personification. Okay, now I am going to read the poem slowly. Please open your textbook, page number 12. Open at page number 12. Okay, I am reading the poem at first, then I will discuss line by line in details. Okay, please read carefully, listen carefully. Okay, then you will read. The mountain and the squirrel had a quarrel, and the former called the latter little prig. One replied, "You are doubtless very big, but all sorts of things and weather must be taken in together to make up a year and a sphere. And I think it no disgrace to occupy my place. If I am not so large as you, you are not so small as I, and not half so spry. I will not deny you make a very pretty squirrel track. Talents differ. All is well and wisely put. If I cannot carry forest on my back, neither can you crack a nut." This is a very nice poem, very simple poem, easy to understand. Please, at first try to understand the word meanings. I have written down here the important words. Some of you may not know the meanings of these words. That's why I have written down here. I have tried to supply you, tried to provide you the meanings, especially the English meaning. Okay, and I will also tell you the Bengali meaning for your better perception, for your better understanding. Okay. At first, here is prick, burn and spray. Okay. Prick, we know it very well. In your textbook, you have this meaning. What does prick means? Prick is a noun. Okay. It means one who puts on an appearance of being morally correct. Okay. So, prick means here the mountain calls the squirrel a prick. The squirrel has appeared here in such a way that he is trying to show he is the only person, we can say here, as personification has been used, he is the only person who is morally correct. Okay. Burn, we know it very well. The meaning of burn is different, but burn, this word has been used here to refer to the squirrel. And spray. Okay, this is an adjective. Its comparative form is sprayer. Okay, Y will be transformed into I, then ER will be added. Okay, sprayer and sprayest, superlative form. So, this is an adjective. Then quarrel, we know it very well. Its meaning is dispute or altercation. Okay, you will find here all the meanings of the important words. Okay, now I will explain the poem in details. Please try to understand. The mountain and the squirrel had a quarrel. So the poem begins with a quarrel. A quarrel has already been started between them, a mountain and a squirrel. Quarrel means a dispute, an altercation. Okay, an altercation began between the mountain and the squirrel. Okay, and the former called the latter little prick. So, the former means being the first of two. Here we have two characters, the mountain and the squirrel. So, the adjective former refers to the mountain. Here the mountain is the former. The former means the mountain called the latter. Latter means being the second of two. Okay, being the second of two. So, it refers to the latter, refers to the squirrel. So, this line denotes that the former called the latter, the mountain called the squirrel. What did it call? Little prick. Little prick. I have already discussed the meaning of prick. And also one word is important here, little. The squirrel is a little creature. We know it very well. But when the mountain calls it little, actually it tries to belittle the squirrel. It tries to demean the squirrel. Okay. So, the next line, Ban replied. How did Ban reply? How did Ban answer? Actually, the squirrel feels insulted here. Okay, that's why it replied, "You are doubtless very big, doubtless very big. You are doubtless very big. There is no doubt that you are very big. We know it very well. The mountain is very large, very big. There is no doubt." Doubtless, actually it means certainly. This is an adverb. Surely, unquestionably, there is no question that you are very big. No one will question about your largeness. Okay, everyone knows it very well. You are very big. But all sorts of things and weather must be taken in together. All sorts. What does sorts mean? Sort, S-O-R-T. Sort means, this is a noun. It means a particular kind, a particular species, a particular class. Okay, so all sorts, all kinds, we can say, all kinds of things, all kinds of things, big, small, large, small, good, bad, all kinds of things, and weather, all kinds of weather must be taken in together to make up a year and a sphere. Whether the weather is cold, whether the weather is hot, it does not matter. Whether you like hot weather, whether you like cold weather, like or don't like, it doesn't matter. We have to take all these kinds of weather and all these kind of things to make up a year. To make up means to complete. So different kinds of things and different weather are necessary to complete a year, to form a sphere, to make up a year and a sphere. What does sphere means? A planet or a star. Here the earth on which we are residing, on which we are living. So on this whole earth there are different creatures of different shapes, different sizes, big, small. The weather is different in different parts of the earth. We know it very well. And this variety of weather, variety of species, variety of things, okay, is the important characteristic of earth. So all these things are necessary to complete, to constitute this earth, to form this earth, to complete a year. Okay. Next, and I think it no disgrace to occupy my place. Here the squirrel is telling us it is completely satisfied the position it holds. Okay. Disgrace. What does disgrace means? Shame, loss of honor, loss of respect, loss of esteem. Okay. So I think it no disgrace. The squirrel doesn't feel shame, loss of honor. Okay, it is not degraded. It does not feel degraded. Okay, to occupy my place. Occupy, what does occupy means? To take possession. To take possession. The possession, it is the squirrel is holding. It is completely happy with that. It is completely contented with that. So, we can say here, the squirrel is completely satisfied. Self-satisfaction is there in the squirrel. We the people are not satisfied with the things we have, with the possession we have. Oftentimes it is said that human beings are ambitious. As we are ambitious, we cannot be satisfied with our present situation, with our present position. The position we hold, we are not satisfied with that because of our ambition. But the squirrel, a little creature, it is completely satisfied with the possession. In this universe, on this earth, he holds a very small position. It is completely, in spite of that, it is completely happy with that. It is completely satisfied with that. Okay, that's why it is saying that I think it no disgrace. Okay, to occupy my place. If I am not so large as you, the squirrel is saying that it knows very well the mountain is larger than it. Okay. So, we can say here it is a positive attitude. The positivity is being exposed here. If I am not so large as you, I know it very well. You are very large. I am very little, very small. If I am not so large as you, you are not so small as I. So there always lies a distinction, a difference between you and me. I cannot take your position. On the other hand, you cannot also come to my position. So, you are okay in your position and I am also okay with my position, in my position. Okay? And not half so spry. You are not half so spry. The mountain is not half so spry. What does spry means? Spry. Full of energy. Okay. Full of energy. Lively. The squirrel is full of energy. The squirrel is lively. It can move wherever it wishes to. But the mountain cannot. Okay. The mountain cannot. It is immovable. it cannot move an inch from its place. Okay, but the squirrel can move wherever it wishes to, wherever it likes to. Okay, so you are not half so spry. I will not deny you make a very pretty squirrel track. Deny, what does deny means? To refuse to agree. Deny, we know it very well. I can't refuse that you make a very pretty squirrel track. Mountain makes a track. Track. Okay, I have not written down here the meaning. Track, actually track means a path made by the footprints of man or any animal. Okay, track. We know there is also a different meaning, railway track. Okay, there is also a different meaning of track, but here the track means path. Okay, so I will not deny. The squirrel is saying that it doesn't deny, it doesn't refuse to agree that the mountain makes a very pretty squirrel track. Pretty. What does pretty means? Pretty means pleasing to the eye, pleasing to the ear, okay, or pleasing to the mind. That is pretty. Okay, a very pretty squirrel track. So what does it mean? Talents differ. Talents differ. The talents, talent means a special natural ability or aptitude. We can say genius, okay, or faculty. The special natural ability that the mountain has does not possess to the squirrel, and the quality, special natural quality that the squirrel has does not possess to the mountain. Okay, this phrase is very important. Talents differ. In this universe, everything is unique. We can say every being, human being, everyone is unique in this universe. What you have may not have to anyone. Okay, you are completely different to others. So, talents differ. The natural ability, special natural ability, the faculty, the genius that I have may not have in anyone. Okay, so there is nothing to be sorry, there is nothing to be sad, because what I have is special. Whatever you have is special. So you are completely different from others. I am completely different from others. I cannot be like you. You can never be like me. We are completely different to each other. Okay, everyone is unique. So talents differ. This is common. All is well and wisely put. Whatever is in this universe, whatever is on this earth, everything is okay. All is well. This is very interesting. Okay, this clause has been used in the movie Three Idiots. We know it very well. All is well. So all is well. Everything is okay. Everything is fine. There is nothing to be worried. There is nothing to be sad. Okay, unhappy. Whatever you have is fine, is okay. Wisely put. Everything has been kept on this earth wisely, very wisely. So don't get depressed. Don't get dejected. Okay, try to be satisfied with whatever you have. Try to be contented. Try to be happy with whatever you have. If I cannot carry forest on my back, the squirrel knows it very well. I cannot carry forest on my back. It is impossible to carry forest on my back, even not a forest. I cannot carry a single tree on my back, a sapling on my back. But you, the mountain, you are carrying a large forest on your back. It is your capability. It is your natural capability. You have got it by birth, we can say. It is natural. This capability has come to you naturally. And neither can you crack a nut. But the capability that I have is not in you. I can crack nut easily. A large number of nuts can be cracked easily by me. But you cannot crack a single nut, a small nut. You cannot break it. Okay, crack. I have not written down here. Crack means to break. Okay, to break into parts. So I can easily break nuts. It is my capability. And it is inborn. This capability has come to me naturally. Okay, so this is the explanation of this poem, and the theme or subject matter, I can say here, of this poem is: in this world, in this universe, every being, whether it is living, it is non-living, animate or inanimate, big or small, have their individual reasons for existence. A small creature, it may be very little, tiny. It has also reasons to be in this world. It has also reasons for its existence on this earth. We cannot say that this animal is very small, this animal is very harmful, it should not be there on this earth. We cannot say. Okay. The things, the animals, whatever is on this earth, in this universe, have individual reasons for their existence. Okay? So, this is the main theme or subject matter of this poem. And the lesson that we learn from this poem is that we should be satisfied, we should be contented with what we have in our life. We should have always a positive attitude. Okay. We should not be depressed, dejected that I don't have this, I don't have that, my friend has everything. Okay, my friend has this, my friend has that. You should not be dejected. Please leave all these worries, leave all these unnecessary thoughts. Lead a purposeful life, be contented, be positive, like the squirrel. Okay? So, if you need the Bengali meaning of these words, you can consult a good dictionary and you can also personally send messages to me. Okay, I will try to reply them. Okay, dear students, today up to this, thank you.